As a middle-aged womanizer whose life is in neutral, he is sent an anonymous letter informing him he has a 19-year-old son.
Legendary actor and comedian Bill Murray has just opened up about one of his biggest regrets in his storied career, turning down a chance to work with Hollywood icon Clint Eastwood in the 1980s. In a candid interview on The Howard Stern Show, the 74-year-old Ghostbusters star delivered a powerful message of remorse that reveals a rare glimpse into the road not taken for one of America's most beloved actors. "When I see him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I wish I'd done that, Clint. I'm really sorry," Murray confessed during the emotional interview. This apology relates to a decision made over 40 years ago when Murray, after the success of Stripes in 1981, got a surprising call from Eastwood with an offer to work together on a Navy-themed project.
And I said, well, God, I guess maybe I shouldn't. But it's one of the few regrets I have, is that I didn't do it because it was a big-scale thing. And I would have gotten I don't know if I'd have gotten a great Destiny. It was more of a comedy, that one. But he had access to, like, the last of all these World War II boats, and he could have, like, made a flotilla and stuff. And there was some cool stuff in it. And when I see him, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what. I wish I'd done that, Clint. I'm really sorry. He's certainly well over it.
The original connection between the two cinema legends began when Murray, impressed by Eastwood's films like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, made a bold move that many actors would never dare attempt.
A long time ago, I was watching the Clint Eastwood movies of the day, like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot or whatever the hell the movies he was making then. I was just a sort of up-and-coming guy, and I went, man, his sidekick gets killed, and he avenges. But the sidekick gets like a great part, a great death scene. I was like, I got to call this guy. So I called him out of the blue.
What followed was an unexpected opportunity that Murray ultimately declined, a decision he now counts among his few career regrets. When Eastwood asked if Murray would consider doing another service comedy, the SNL alum hesitated, concerned about being typecast after his success in Stripes.
Geez, would I become like Abbott and Costello? I had to do like military movies. And I said, well, God, I guess maybe I shouldn't.
Revealing the thought process that led to his fateful decision. The film in question is widely believed to be Heartbreak Ridge, the 1986 war drama that Eastwood both directed and starred in, playing the gruff Marine gunnery Sergeant Tom Highway. While the movie still went on to become a success without Murray, the Groundhog Day star now recognizes what a spectacular missed opportunity it represented.
1, 2, 2.5.
It's one of the few regrets I have, is that I didn't do it because it was a big-scale thing. And I would have gotten I don't know if I'd have gotten a great Destiny. It was more of a comedy, that one. But he had access to, like, the last of all these World War II boats, and he could have, like, made a flotilla and stuff. And there was some cool stuff in it.
Murray's confession is poignant because it comes from an actor whose career has been defined by an unorthodox approach to Hollywood. Known for not having an agent or manager and famously difficult to reach, he maintains only a personal voicemail box that he checks infrequently. Murray has built a reputation for being selective about his roles. This approach has led to both triumphs and missed opportunities. He's previously turned down parts in films like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Monsters, Inc., and Little Miss Sunshine comes when both men are established legends. Murray has gone from an SNL comedian to a praised dramatic actor in films like Lost in Translation and Broken Flowers, while Eastwood, now 94, recently released his 40th film, Juror Number 2. Their nearly collaboration is a fascinating what-if in Hollywood history. Two artists with very different styles almost joining forces at the peak of their careers. Despite Murray's regret, he notes that Eastwood has long since moved past any disappointment over the missed opportunity. He's certainly well over it. He's a very resilient fella, Murray noted, acknowledging the director's legendary toughness and longevity in the industry. This comment underscores the respect Murray clearly holds for Eastwood, making his public apology all the more meaningful. The interview also revealed another interesting piece of Hollywood history when Stern pointed out that Stripes, the very film that inadvertently led to Murray turning down Eastwood, was originally written for comedy duo Cheech and Chong. They could have had fun with it. There were lots of stoner scenes in it, Murray acknowledged. Instead, with Ivan Reitman directing and Murray starring alongside John Candy, the film became the fifth highest grossing release of 1981, further cementing Murray's status as a comedy superstar. Murray's candid admission offers a fascinating look at the behind-the-scenes decisions that shape Hollywood careers and the genuine emotional weight that can accompany professional choices decades later. For a man who has built a career on his seemingly carefree, detached persona, this moment of vulnerability and regret provides a compelling contrast to his public image. The revelation also highlights the complex nature of career choices in Hollywood, where actors must constantly balance concerns about typecasting against potentially transformative opportunities. Murray's fear of becoming known solely for service comedies following Stripes ultimately cost him a chance to work with one of cinema's most celebrated directors. A reminder that even the most successful actors sometimes make decisions they later question. As Murray continues his eclectic career, recently appearing in projects as diverse as Wes Anderson's meticulously crafted ensemble films and the Marvel blockbuster Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, this glimpse into a path not taken offers fans a rare moment of reflection from an actor who has largely defined himself by looking forward rather than back. What do you think about Bill Murray's regret over not working with Clint Eastwood? Would their collaboration have produced something special, or were they perhaps too different in their approaches to filmmaking? And does Murray's willingness to publicly express remorse to Eastwood reveal something deeper about how he views his own legacy in Hollywood? The answers may never be known, but the powerful admission from one screen legend to another reminds us that even the most successful careers contain moments of what if?
I want to let young people know. I want to let young people know that it is not a burden to love him and to represent him.
5 Grammy Awards in one night, 8 times platinum, a voice that defined a generation, then silence. What happens when a star burns too bright, when fame becomes a prison instead of a platform, when the very industry that celebrates you begins to suffocate you? The story of Lauryn Hill isn't just about music, it's about love, betrayal, motherhood, and the courage to walk away from it all when the spotlight becomes too blinding. Born on May 26, 1975 in South Orange, New Jersey, Lauryn Hill's journey to stardom began on an unlikely stage. Showtime at the Apollo, where at just 13 years old, she was booed while performing Smokey Robinson's Who's Loving You. Most would have crumbled under that pressure. Lauryn didn't. This resilience would become a defining trait throughout her career, though perhaps not in the ways the music industry had hoped. The foundation of the Fugees reads like a coming-of-age drama. A young Lauryn meets Pras Michelle when she was barely a teenager. Pras introduces her to Wyclef Jean, and what follows is not just musical chemistry, but a complicated love triangle that would fuel some of the most remarkable music of the 1990s. In 1996, the Fugees released The Score, an album that would sell over 6 times platinum and win 2 Grammy Awards. Songs like Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, and Fujila showcased Lauryn's incredible range, her ability to sing with haunting vulnerability and rap with fierce conviction. But behind the harmonies was discord. The relationship between Lauryn and Wyclef had evolved from mentor-mentee to something far more complicated. While touring with the Fugees on the Smoke and Grooves tour in 1996, Lauryn met Rohan Marley, son of reggae legend Bob Marley. What began as a pushed connection, friends encouraging Lauryn to give Rohan a chance to break free from Wyclef, would become a relationship spanning years and producing 5 children. But there was a problem.
Are you with child? Don't blush on me now.
Actually, yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. This is something that was planned, and are you excited about it? And
Planned in the sense of, I'm 21 years old and going around the world, no, but planned in the sense that,
I'm very much in love and very happy. I mean, I see birth as, motherhood as a benediction. So I'm just blessed with another responsibility.
When Lauren became pregnant with her first child, Zion, the paternity was initially questioned. Wyclef believed he might be the father, only to later discover the child was Rohan's. And then another revelation, Rohan had married during his college years and had 2 children from that marriage, a fact Lauren reportedly learned only after giving birth to Zion. In August 1998, Lauren released The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, an album she reportedly produced, wrote, and arranged herself. The album was an immediate commercial and critical success, debuting at #1 on the Billboard charts and selling nearly 700,000 copies in its first 2 weeks. But the triumph was short-lived. A group of musicians known as New Ark filed a lawsuit claiming they deserved writing and production credits on the album. The settlement reportedly cost Lauren $5 million and dealt a significant blow to her artistic confidence. The pressure mounted. Lauren was now a new mother, the face of neo-soul and conscious hip-hop, supporting multiple family members financially, touring extensively to promote her album, and dealing with relationship problems. Then came the voice issues. During her Miseducation tour, Lauren discovered something startling. Many of the notes she had reached during the recording were no longer in her range. She strained her voice trying to replicate what she had recorded. In 2000, Lauren met a spiritual advisor known as Brother Anthony. Friends described him as possessive and aggressive, suggesting Lauren was being manipulated. After this meeting, she abruptly fired her management team and distanced herself from former colleagues and friends. Her appearance at the 2001 Essence Awards shocked fans. Her iconic hair was gone, replaced with a short, unkempt style. Her voice was strained, and her performance of Adam Lives in Theory hinted at personal betrayal. July 2001, Lauren records her MTV Unplugged special. What followed was less a musical performance and more a public catharsis. Between acoustic songs, she cried, ranted, and declared herself crazy and deranged. The stark difference between this raw, vulnerable Lauren and the polished, powerful performer from just 3 years earlier left fans confused and concerned. The next decade saw Lauren largely retreat from public life. She moved back to New Jersey with her children. Her relationship with Rohan became strained, with him later claiming their differences stemmed from Lauren's spiritual journey with Brother Anthony. In 2013, Lauren's legal troubles came to a head when she was sentenced to 3 months in prison for failing to pay nearly $2.3 million in taxes. Shortly before her incarceration, she released Neurotic Society, her first new music in years. 20 years after the release of Miseducation, the album was inducted into the Library of Congress's National Registry, cementing its place in American musical history. Lauren occasionally performs, though often with the same unpredictability that has characterized her later career. Her grandson, through son Zion, marks a new chapter in her life, from young star to grandmother, a journey that has taken place largely away from public scrutiny. Lauryn Hill's story challenges our understanding of artistic success. What price should creators pay for our entertainment? How do we balance commercial demands against artistic freedom? What happens when an artist chooses personal peace over fame? Hill didn't disappear. She chose a different path. In an industry demanding constant exposure, she opted for self-preservation. Her most powerful statement wasn't through music, but through silence, refusing to be consumed by an industry that values products over people. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill remains one of history's best-selling albums by a female artist, yet its creator walked away at the height of acclaim. Her relationship with Wyclef Jean was the creative force behind the Fugees, a complicated dynamic that spilled into their music. When she met Rohan Marley, many saw it as her escape from Wyclef's influence. Miseducation was Hill's declaration of independence. By crediting herself as sole producer and arranger, she asserted her authority in an industry reluctant to acknowledge black female genius. The resulting lawsuit wasn't merely about credits, it concerned legitimacy and recognition, her spiritual transformation and insistence on being called Ms. Hill wasn't ego, but a demand for respect in an industry that had commodified her talent. Her raw MTV Unplugged performance, often viewed as evidence of unraveling, can alternatively be seen as a rejection of artifice. Was this breakdown or breakthrough? The line is thinner than we acknowledge. Motherhood became Hill's priority, puzzling an industry accustomed to women putting careers first. Her sporadic, reimagined performances weren't failures, but assertions that her art would be presented on her terms or not at all. Even her tax troubles and subsequent imprisonment reflect her complicated relationship with systems she may have viewed as oppressive. Today, Hill remains an enigma who achieved everything the music industry promises, then walked away. Her legacy lies not just in miseducation, but in her refusal to let that brilliance define her. The true story isn't about what happened to Lauryn Hill, it's about what she decided would not happen. She wouldn't be consumed by fame or sacrifice her authenticity. In choosing herself, she may have disappointed fans, but remained true to the spirit of honesty and unapologetic self-expression that created miseducation in the first place. That might be her most powerful legacy of all.
In the world of martial arts, few names carry as much weight as Bruce Lee. But beneath the surface of his legendary status lies a shocking truth about the extreme methods that forged his extraordinary abilities. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the dangerous and revolutionary training techniques that made Bruce Lee a legend. At just 135 pounds, Bruce Lee possessed strength that seemed to defy physics. His power-to-weight ratio was extraordinary, leading many to question how someone so lean could generate such explosive force. The answer lies in training methods so intense that they would make modern fitness experts nervous. Historical clips of Lee training.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Lee broke away from traditional martial arts doctrine in a controversial move that would change combat sports forever. While other martial artists avoided weight training, believing it would make them slow and inflexible, Lee embraced it. But with a twisted innovation that was uniquely his own. Lee's training philosophy was built on 4 dangerous pillars. 1. Maximum force generation through extreme isometrics. 2nd, explosive speed training at the edge of human capability. 3. Unconventional strength development. 4th, brutal endurance conditioning. But what made these methods truly revolutionary was how he combined them into a single, punishing system. Demonstration of isometric exercises. One of Lee's most controversial methods was his revolutionary approach to isometric training, pushing the boundaries of what many thought possible. He would spend grueling hours pushing against immovable objects with maximum force, attempting to engage every single muscle fiber in his body. This technique, while remarkably effective for building strength.
Well, this brings up something. You were in one of Bruce Lee's great movies.
Return of the Dragon.
Return of the Dragon. Yeah. And this is a famous fight scene that you had with Bruce Lee.
I still consider it a classic.
It holds up. I watched it today, and you know they've advanced fight scenes so much, but this really holds up. It's an amazing fight scene.
Well, I think the main reason Bruce was really ahead of his time. And I worked out with Bruce Lee, and I worked out for 3 years. That's when I held the world title. And then he went to Hong Kong to pursue his movie career, did a couple movies, very successful. So he called me up and said, you know, I want to do a movie with a fight scene that everyone will remember called Return of the Dragon. He said, would you come over and do the fight scene with me? I said, well, do I have to lose? He says, yeah, you have to lose. So I said, all right. So I went over there, and you know, I'd seen his first 2 movies. I said, you know, the guys you fight don't even have a chance. I mean, they don't even touch you, you know. And he said, no, we'll make this a seesaw battle. And so we made it fight back and forth, and it became a classic.
That was unusual at the time because in that fight scene, you knock him down a few times, and it's pretty close, and he didn't allow that, did he?
No, I was the only one ever to really do that, you know, fighting. But again, you know, he respected me because of my ability as a world champion at the time.
Carried serious risks of tissue damage and nervous system fatigue that would make modern trainers hesitate. The intensity of Lee's isometric training was almost frightening to witness. He would push against concrete walls relentlessly until his muscles visibly trembled and shook, far beyond what most would consider the point of failure.